So besides audio, we also do a lot of video here in the studio, mainly for live concerts, so that's syncing, sometimes editing, encoding, some color corrections, and it's for DVD, Blu-ray and online streaming. So you need a good reference screen for that, and we tested this new 34-inch ultra widescreen by LG. So this ultra wide 5K screen should not be confused with the ultra fine 5K screen by LG. You can find those on the Apple Store. They're specially made for use with a MacBook or with a Mac Mini, as you see here, because it's connected via a Thunderbolt 3 connector. And that means you can use the full resolution of 5120 by 2160, but this aspect ratio is 21:9 instead of the 16:9 you have on the ultra fine screens. So LG is using a nano EPS panel here with local dimming and has all kinds of color standards, like 98% of DCI-P3 standard, 99% of the Rec 709 standard, and even 135% of the sRGB standard. So for color corrections of photos it's perfect, but also for video. It's also HDR 600 compliant, so it has a 600 candela per square meter. So we have different connectors on this display, like HDMI 2 connectors, it's 4K, and if you want to go up a little higher you can use a display port, it's DisplayPort 1.4, but if you want to have the full resolution, the 5K resolution, you really need a Mac with a Thunderbolt 3 connector, so a Mac Mini, a MacBook Pro and later a Mac Pro. But keep in mind, working in 5K is heavy on your graphic card, so with this Mac Mini it's so-so, but if you want to really use extensive and heavy stuff, you need to use a separate eGPU card. So obviously LG is aiming at the Mac user with this screen, and not only for the connector, also for the design. And if you look closely, it's not metal, this is plastic, and it feels flimsy, it feels plastic, and that's a pity because it's a very expensive screen and you want to match it very nicely with your MacBook or with your Mac Mini. Also, there are not a lot of functions with like rotating. You can rotate the screen horizontally, but the swivel mount, you can't use that, and that's a pity. So the screen supports a lot of color standards, and out of the box sRGB, the settings are perfect. So correcting photos, no problem. When you want to use a standard for color correction for video, so like REC 709, the settings aren't that perfect at all, and you need an extra colorimeter to adjust that. Well, the good thing is there's software by LG, so you can correct it on the screen itself, so it's in the hardware, and that's a nice feature. Also, LG is providing a small program called On-Screen Control, and then you control the screen from your desktop. That's a nice feature. Only problem is I did a firmware update and it doesn't work anymore with my Mac Mini. Maybe with a MacBook Pro, I didn't try it yet, but I read on the internet there were a lot of people having the same problems. So before upgrading or trying this on your computer, make sure it works. So after working a while with this screen for video and audio, I have to say I really love it. It's a good reference screen, so also for color corrections on photos, it's perfect. The only thing I didn't like so much was the aspect ratio of 21:9. So that's very personal. So nothing to do with this screen, nothing to do with LG, but if you like to work on that aspect ratio, I would say go for the ultra fine screens. They also make the 5K screens. It even has a higher resolution, so my choice would be the ultra fine display. But if you love the 21:9 aspect ratio, this is a perfect screen for you.